I'm John Decker with GolfSwing.com. Today we're talking about the Pitch Perfect scoring system, and we're going to talk about the common faults and the fixes that we need to work on to get rid of those faults in pitching. And a lot of times when I'm working with my students, I see a lot of the same things over and over from student to student. And there's so many faults that I see in pitching. Let's start with the setup. The first mistake that you can make in your setup is getting your hands too far in front of the ball like this. What this does is it exposes the leading edge, which is the digging edge, and it actually causes the club to stick into the ground. And we hit the shot that only goes maybe a yard, where we're just completely hitting the chunk shot. Another problem that I see a lot of my students do is they play the ball too far back in their stance. When you're hitting a pitch shot, remember, position 1, the ball is in between my feet. Position 2, I open my left foot. And then position 3, I widen my stance. If I want to hit it really high, I widen my stance and lower my center of gravity. If I want to hit it high, then I'll just kind of put it like this. But I'm controlling the width of my stance with my right foot. What I don't want to do is this. So we want to make sure that we're going through our position 1, 2, and 3. A third mistake that I see a lot of my students do is they'll tend to choke down too much in pitching. When you're hitting a high pitch shot, you're going to need to have the full length of the club because you're trying to hit a high shot. Choking down on the club actually lowers your trajectory. We don't want to lower it, we want to get it up in the air. Another mistake I see people make is they don't have the right equipment. You need to have a lob wedge. Remember, a lob wedge can be 58, 60, or 62 degrees of loft. And make sure that when you get a lob wedge that you have the appropriate amount of bounce. 10 to 12 degrees on a lob wedge is good. If you've got something with 4 degrees of bounce, you don't have enough of a cushion back here. This bounce really helps the club slide right through the grass like that. One of the big myths that I see a lot of my students have is when they open their club face, and remember this is 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. When they open it up to say 2 o'clock, they think that they're going to hit it to the right. And so they're afraid to open their club face. If you want to improve in pitching, you must learn how to open up the club face, which means you've got to make swing. You've got to swing the club. You can't open the club face and have a small swing because you've increased the loft of the club. So opening the club face allows you to use the back of the club, which is really going to help you. One of the mistakes I see a lot of people also make in their pitch shots is they don't make rehearsal swings. It's very important that you feel the shot. You've got to feel the club sliding through the grass. And you can see when you're doing this, you're actually testing it. If you feel like in that first swing I made, I felt my club stick into the ground. I knew that there was something wrong. The problem was my feet were too close together. So as I widen my stance, now when I swing, see, the club can just slide right through there. It helps you to gauge how much power you're going to need, and you're better off in a pitch shot to give it too much power than not enough, especially in a situation like this. And then as we go through this video, you're going to notice that we're going to talk about the decisions that you make. You can't always go at the flag. One of the mistakes that I see people make is when they get a bad lie, is they automatically assume that they're going to go to the flag, when in reality they may be better off to play it off to the side and get the ball on the front of the green and then try to two-putt from there. Because in all of these situations, we're trying to save our score. Focus on these things, you're definitely going to improve in your pitching.